Hey everybody, this is Josh
and Carolyn
with Homesteading Family, and welcome to episode 12 of the Pantry Chat.
Yeah.
Kids' chores on the homestead.
Yeah, we're kind of continuing on the talk from last week, answering some more of the questions, getting a little deeper on some of that.
Yeah, so. Diving in a little bit.
Yeah.
But first, a little bit of housekeeping.
Right.
Hey, we asked you guys about keeping, what to do with this front section, the Chit Chat, I think Carolyn called it, and whether to keep it or whether it should go. And you guys were pretty unanimous. On keeping it.
Chit Chat.
And so we're going to do that.
Yeah.
But to also address those of you that want to get to the core topic right away, we're going to go ahead and timestamp the sections.
Yeah.
So that you'll know where the Chit Chat is, where the questions answered are, subscriber questions, and then where the core topics start. So those of you that want to zoom through the Chit Chat, you can get right to the core subject. So thanks for all of your feedback on that. That was really, really helpful.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah. So on with the Chit Chat.
On with the Chit Chat.
What's going on? How's your week?
Oh, my week has been good. It's been really productive, and I'm really excited because I have just wrapped up filming my new free herbal training that I'm going to release to you guys in the next couple weeks. This is kind of the free training that's going to go out for my new herb class. A lot of you guys who've been following know we just released the herb class.
Right, the class is out there.
The class is out there.
A few of you have taken it.
Yeah. And so this is the training that's going to go along to it. And when you go through the training, you'll get a special offer, a coupon offer for the class. It's a really good offer too.
Yeah.
But I'm excited because the training that goes with it is just really filled with the stuff that I wish I knew years ago when I was starting to try to treat our family with herbs instead of with, over-the-counter medicines or pharmaceuticals or anything like that. And this is just, it's really foundational. And so I'm really excited to be able to share it with you guys because I think you're going to get a whole lot out of it.
Yeah, really exciting.
Yeah.
Carolyn has just done so great over the years taking care of our family and transitioning us into natural methods, herbal methods, and it's just been a huge blessing.
It really has.
And so it's exciting you're going to be able to get this out there.
Yeah, I know. I've been working on it forever, so it's nice to finally.
So you're going to hand it over to me here soon for the technicals.
It's going to go into his desk in a little bit, and he's going to be responsible for it being slow. If it's slow after this, it's not going to be my fault anymore.
Well, it is. May is like on the homestead is like it is the month of the year.
It's like an avalanche.
At least here in Idaho, it is. Spring hits a little bit later, so
yeah,
it's so busy. And besides that, you've been doing other stuff.
Yeah, we've been out in the garden, been wrapping up some projects out in the garden, the really early spring stuff. And I'm getting really excited because I'm just about to start putting in the herb garden, the kitchen garden up front.
Yep, perennial garden.
I've got the first plants coming for that. Well, I've got, how many starts do I have over here starting?
Oh, we counted 500.
500
you plan a lot to make sure you've got success, and anything you lose, and then you got to get out in the ground. You might lose a little bit there.
Well, and then I have all the plants that are going to be direct seeded, but I do have a bunch of hops coming this week from somebody local who grows hops, and I'm going to get those in, and those are going to hopefully trellis right up the front of the house in the kitchen garden area. And so that will kick off the kitchen garden, herb garden area for the house. So I'm excited about that.
Very cool.
What about you? Yeah. What have you been up to?
Oh, a lot of gardening and getting through really cold weather. I don't know if you guys saw my video a few days ago, but we had a 20-degree morning, caught us off guard. And usually I've got heat lamps in the greenhouse, and we've got some heat pads to protect against that. Didn't get the heat lamps on, and that probably wouldn't have done it anyways. And so when I got to the greenhouse in the morning, it was 25 degrees at head height. So I'm sure on the ground and table height it was 22.
It was lower, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought we were going to lose everything.
Yeah, we have all of our starts, all of our main season starts out there, like the tomatoes, the peppers, cabbages, all sorts of stuff.
But you know what? We got a really cool trick that we used to save them, and we saved almost all of them.
Yeah.
And I'll put an end card at the end of the video at the end of this video if you want to check that out.
Yeah.
Gardening, dealing with erratic Idaho spring weather, and then also we've got a milk cow brought in, Molly.
She's here.
The milk cow came Saturday, so last week was a lot of getting
Prepping
ready,
for her. Yeah.
prepping, and now we've got to be prepping the milk stanchion. We have a couple weeks, but of course, a lot of you know we're in a new place. We've got a great barn, but it wasn't set up for the way we're going to use it. So a lot of work there, just getting the infrastructure in.
Yeah. No, I'm really pleased with her so far. She's a little bit of an older milk cow, but she's maybe one of the first milk cows we've ever had who is friendly.
One of the friendliest, and Jerseys are kind of a myth. A lot of people have this romantic image of the perfect Jersey cow, family cow, and they're out there, but they're not really your standard Jersey.
Yeah.
And this girl Molly is really sweet.
She likes being scratched
Yeah.
and rubbed on,
Yep.
and she'll follow you around.
Yeah.
And it looks like she'll walk off a cliff for a handful of grain. So she likes her grain. So we'll try and get out there and get a video of her for you guys sometime soon, so you can meet her.
Yeah.
She is due to calve in a couple weeks. So
According to we just bought her, so according to them,
and she's
so
wide.
you never know.
She's really big.
She's really wide, so she definitely looks close, but she's not even starting to bag up yet. So
Yeah.
so we've definitely got a little bit of time on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
You've
good
been
stuff.
doing
Yeah, that's it. And mom and dad's getting ready
Yeah, getting
for their
ready
project. Yeah, we've got
for my parents
yeah.
who are building their place
and they're
here.
going to be up here in a couple weeks. Yeah, so we're prepping for them, and just a lot of good stuff. It's going to be exciting to have a couple generations
Yeah,
here.
definitely.
That is just it's really cool.
Yeah, that really fits a lot of our vision for this. Is this multi-generational, having grandma. In fact, the kid's great grandma, your grandma, will be up in a couple weeks to come visit too.
And now, great grandma Jeannie lived through the Great Depression
She did.
in Texas,
She is a
she's got some
firecracker.
stories. So we're gonna have to see. No promises, but we're gonna have to see if we could get Grandma Jeannie on the Pantry
She
Chat.
told a story one time about tying stilts to the chickens as kids, and we should see if we can get her to come tell this story.
So
she's pretty funny.
She's gonna be here in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
That
So
would be a
we'll
lot
have to
of
see
fun.
if we can get her on.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Okay.
that's kind of the homestead happening. So let's jump into our question for the day. Subscriber
chit-chat.
question. That's enough chit chat for today.
Actually, before
all
we
right?
hit the subscriber question, I want to address a few questions that we got on the last video real fast.
Okay.
One is a lot of people were interested in the breakfast casseroles that we talked about on there. I am getting those recipes typed up for you guys. And in fact, within the next couple weeks, we have meal planning on the homestead as a topic for Pantry Chat. So I will make sure by the time we get to that Pantry Chat, I've got those recipes for you guys so that you can grab those.
Nice.
Another thing, multiple people asked me for links on that alembic still, the copper still that I showed you guys last week that I have for essential oils and hydrosols. And we'll drop the link to that in this video.
I think that's a class next year.
You think that's a class?
I think that's a class next year.
Well,
I mean, that thing is cool. I can't wait to see
I'm
what you
really
do with
excited
it.
about it. I've been reading
Well,
on
essential
it.
oils are expensive.
They're very expensive.
And so to be able to create hydrosols and essential oils at home,
Yeah.
that is...
You need a lot of plant material to get very much essential oils, but the hydrosols are really, really powerful too. They're really good. They're not as... they're a little more usable and user-friendly than an essential oil, and you can make a lot of those from not a ton of plant
So
material.
you're going to need to grow your own to make it cost effective.
Oh, I think so.
But,
Yeah,
but that's still,
absolutely.
I mean, that's just a great addition to the idea of homesteading self-sufficiency.
Yeah.
Is making your medicine in that way.
Yeah,
A little
I'm
more
excited
powerful
about it.
medicines.
It should be
Awesome.
fun.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, so from Deborah, can you let us know what all vegetables and or fruits can be fermented? So this is a question for Carolyn.
Okay, fermented. That's a really good question. Okay, so the short answer is that pretty much every single vegetable or fruit can be fermented. However, not all vegetables and fruits can be fermented as a preservation method. Now, a lot of fruits you can ferment, but you need to eat them very quickly. Otherwise, they are going to move on to either an alcohol ferment or a vinegar ferment. And
which still has its uses.
It absolutely
Both
has
of those
its
still
uses.
have their uses.
Right.
Right. But they're not going to hold, right?
But it's not going to hold as a lactoferment for you, which is what most people refer to when they're thinking of vegetables or fruits being fermented.
Okay.
And so those are just kind of, we do the cranberry sauce for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah.
I do a fermented cranberry sauce. You can find that video on YouTube. And, you know, that really needs to go right into the fridge after about 1 to 2 days of fermenting. It's really fast, and it needs to stay there and then get eaten within a couple days.
Okay.
So if you have more questions on what can and can't be fermented, we have a great guide out, Fearless Fermenting. Can we put that in the description? We put a link to that in the
we'll get a
description?
link to the free download in the description on that. Yeah,
that would be a good one. And but really, anything that's raw that you would normally eat raw, just about anything can be fermented. And if you haven't tried it, try the fermented tomatoes. Check out that video that we have out because they're so good.
So if they get the Fearless Fermenting Guide, that has, I don't remember how many, it's got a few different vegetables in it, but can they take that and pretty much experiment with most other vegetables with that method and see if they like them?
It kind of gives you the format for fermenting so that you can get in there and try different things, and it does have some of my favorite fermented recipes, but you don't really need a recipe to ferment, you just need the right ratios of salt, and I give you all of that in that guide.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
I'll get that up.
Okay.
Okie dokie. So,
into the topic today.
Pantry Chat, episode number 11, Kids Chores on the Homestead. We couldn't do it without them.
No, we couldn't do it without them.
And we
Well,
have
we
grown.
might not need to do it to the level we do
grown
without
as they have grown, and we'll probably have to pull in as they go out, they go out in the world, and you know, hopefully, and that's part of the generational. It's a whole other subject, but part of the generational thinking is definitely handing this off and hoping that some in the family.
Somebody
carry the flag.
might want to take it on. Right. We'll see as they get older.
Yeah, we can't
now, we've had a lot of new subscribers. So before we get to talking about the kids, on the last video, we got asked several times, how many kids do you have? And we have 9 children.
Wow, we have 9?
I know.
I lost count.
How did that happen? Where did that come from? The oldest is 14 right now, all the way down to the baby who is 19 months.
Yeah. Year and a half,
20 months, something like that. So, and all one at a time, no twins or anything.
So yeah, big household.
Big household.
And mom and dad coming in, and
So chores.
All right, so we're going to go into a little bit more of our, I guess, theory
for
chore theory here.
Yeah.
And I mean, point 1 is start them as early as you can.
Right.
There is a season in there where they just want to do anything they can with you. Highly unproductive.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
The most valuable time to get them started.
So this is back to like 18 months. Even little Rebecca right now is already
when
trying to help.
Yeah.
As soon as they're up moving, you want to slow down and get them involved. And this has been a practice that Josh and I have had since we had our first child, to choose to slow down and do less if we had to, and let the children help and be involved, even though usually that meant not only slowing down for their sake, but then having to clean up the process behind them. So
it needs to be totally enjoyable for them.
Yeah.
And of course, obviously, low to no expectancy.
Right.
Right. But they want to be there with you. They want to be with you. They want to be with their brothers and sisters, and they want to be hanging out, and they just naturally want to do things. And that's the time to get them going. They're getting going on a lot of things, and exploring, picking up, touching things, and seeing where they can go, and that just becomes part of the flow.
So instead of shooing them off to go play, so they're out from underfoot, which we all understand, we need to have some time to get something done productively, but bringing them in and finding a way to get them involved in what they're doing. Even if it's putting the vegetables you've already chopped and having the little person pick them up and put them in the pot that you're going to put them in, something so that they can be involved in the process.
Well, and like our oldest, where we actually learned this and I think realized how to do this was with Tristan with firewood. Yeah. And we have, in our house, we've had a tradition that every 1-year-old gets a Tonka truck.
Yeah.
I don't know where we came
Gets
up with
his
that.
dump
I
truck.
never loved my Tonka truck. I don't know. But every 1-year-old gets a Tonka truck just for fun.
Yeah.
Well, Tristan, as soon as he could stand and push that around, which was, his second winter, and I was bringing firewood in, he just started wrestling a piece of firewood, into the Tonka truck and rolling it along and following me. And that was just the beginning of, oh, wow. Cool, he can help, but we hadn't even thought about having him help at that point. It just became, he started doing that, and so started calling him in and bringing him along naturally. It didn't take that long. I think it was the next winter that became, a chore. He couldn't do it all, but it became, he just started doing that, even if it was one piece.
Yeah.
And that was kind of that beginning of that idea of realizing, of bringing them along.
Well, and when
whatever way you
everybody
can.
praises them and claps and says, great job, they just
Sure.
love that. They get so much out of that. And more so as they get more and more siblings around them, praising them and clapping and being excited for them. It just really becomes this good cycle of getting a lot out of that time.
So at those ages, it seems like it's moving things, right? Moving objects. You do silverware. Maybe you do something a little earlier than that in the kitchen.
Yeah,
Or
when it goes to actually becoming a real chore where they have to show up and they have to do it, we start somewhere, it depends on the child, but somewhere around 2.5 with silverware and just taking the clean silverware and sorting it into the silverware drawer. And, some kids go to preschool for silverware or for sorting activities, and we do silverware sorting and do chores and call it preschool too. So we start that right at about 2.5, and we try to make it really fun at that age. Lots of encouragement, not a lot of heavy pressure, but still we need to show up and just do a little bit and make an effort. And
you, again, it's messy. You have to be willing to have a silverware drawer that isn't really sorted. They're doing their best and they're learning. And so that couples with that expectancy of having them do it, is we have to have an expectancy that we're going to live with something that's not the way we would do it.
Right.
And especially at that level.
Yeah.
But they're getting to do something. They're learning a skill and they're participating.
Yeah, and I just really want to reiterate that at these early stages, these young ages, they're really doing something with you, even when it's a chore. You're right there, or a big sibling's right there, and encouraging them on and helping them. And it's really more just a habit being formed of showing up for chore time. Really is what it is. So
that's kind of level one.
That's level
right?
one.
And so where do you see where do we go from there? As we're stepping up in age a little bit, kind of what's the next level?
Well, so it kind of depends on the child, really, from there. And for us, what we tend to do is about twice a year, we look at the chores that need to be done in the house. Usually that's spring and fall, because as the seasons are changing, you just need different things done.
Right.
It just changes.
Rotating. Yeah.
And we go through and we see, now who is the youngest child who can do this particular chore? Because it's really easy to kind of stagnate and go, well, this older child already knows how to do this, so it's a lot easier just leaving them do this chore than training the next person to do it, right? And that doesn't help out the older child, and it doesn't help out the younger child, and so we try to keep moving people through into more advanced chores regularly. Right. So, you have any thoughts on that one?
Well, yeah, you definitely want to be moving them through. We want everybody to have a variety of experience.
Yes.
And skill sets. And sorry, I'm drawing a little bit of a blank.
Yeah. So we try to make sure that everybody hits kind of different areas of concern. That way they all have a really well-rounded skill set when it comes to taking care of a house, taking care of animals, food, different things like that.
So how about, can we give them some examples for, say, we've kind of talked about that young age, 4 or 5-year-olds.
We're going to just go through some of the chores we have in the house
to help people understand what are they doing at ages.
Okay,
all
right.
Yeah, so what do you, like in the house, what do you see? So you get through silverware sorting, kind of, and maybe a little basic sitting on the kitchen counter, helping with things, stirring stuff,
So usually the next chore after that tends to go towards setting a table, or part of setting a table. So right now, Elizabeth is 3 years old, and her morning job is to put the silverware on the table And she has a big buddy who helps her, one of the older kids, who sets the rest of the table, but makes sure that she's putting the silverware on every morning. You're laughing.
I was wondering if she had one of those what are the scopes called on a submarine that she could actually see up on the table.
Yeah,
She's trying to get
I know, because she can't really see, so she's like sticking it up there.
I guess she's
above her
tall
head.
enough to see over the edge.
she's,
Wow, she's short.
she's getting
to do
there.
That. Yeah.
So, and then let's see, moving up is Hannah, who is just 5 years old. And she collects the laundry from the whole house, gets it down to the laundry room, and gets it sorted. And again, she has another big buddy who gets the laundry started in the morning, who's kind of overseeing. But at this point, Hannah's pretty self-sufficient in sorting all of the household laundry into the different baskets.
Yeah, and on the other side, you have the outside chores.
Yeah.
And inside, outside, guys usually take out the trash, firewood in and out, and then you start to have animals. And usually it's 4 to 5 where they're starting to, engage in that regularly.
Right.
And one of the things we did this year with our youngest son is he actually was being trained by Connor, by our middle boy. And that's another skill set, just learning to train. I had to train Connor
to train
how
John.
to train Johnny because we've got so much going on. I can't be out there, and I decided this is actually a good opportunity. But they've all started somewhere right in there in 4 or 5. Collecting eggs. Yeah, a little one goes sometimes, but if they're much younger than that, the eggs are getting broken too much. And a variety of things happening. So you've got those outdoor chores of chicken care supervised. Is one of the outdoor ones. I'm trying to think. That's one of the main ones. Cleanup. That's another one. Outside cleanup that people can move objects and check around the house.
Well, let's keep going through the ages though, because we got a couple
that
specific questions.
Right,
so
that was
Johnny
the 4 or 5
is
year old.
Yeah, he started at 4 to 5.
Right.
He's now a month
6?
away from turning 7.
Almost 7. Yeah.
He's getting close to 7, and he takes care of feeding and watering the cats and the dogs.
Right, and
now by himself.
He just started that by himself after training through the winter on taking care of animals with his older brother.
Right.
And so now he is on his own. And here's what I do with the guys. I don't know how you handle it with the girls, but the guys have a list. Sometimes we have it written down, and they come back and they check in when they're done.
Yeah.
And they need to be able to repeat back what they did. So that's that accountability. And I try to ask them to think about it before they come, make sure they did their list, and then they check it in. And so that's one layer of making sure it's getting done, especially at those lower ages.
Yeah.
And then the other is following up periodically, depending more often or not, depending on who it is.
Yeah, there's a saying that we have that is you can't expect what you don't inspect.
Right.
And that's a really good one, and we have to remind each other of that sometimes.
Oh, it gets busy.
Because it's so busy, it's hard to follow up with everybody, but checking up occasionally and inspecting. So Johnny is at 7, he's taking care of the animals, and then we have
dogs and cats.
Dogs and cats, which is advanced because we've got cats in 3 places, dogs that need to be fed in 3 different places. You've got barn cats and garden cats and
garage cats
and cats all over the place. So so then Abigail is next, and she's 8, and she goes through the whole house, and I'm just giving you the morning chores here. She goes through the whole house and collects all the trash from the trash cans and gets that to the main trash can. And then she empties the dishwasher and reloads it with any dishes that are sitting there ready, which isn't very many in the morning. So.
Right.
And then Brianna, who's 10 years old, in the morning, she is Elizabeth's buddy. So she gets up, she helps all of the little people get dressed in the morning. She really likes working with the little kids. So she helps get them dressed, changes any diapers, helps brush hair and teeth. And then she takes Elizabeth out and kind of coaches her on setting the table while she sets the rest of the table.
Yeah.
So
and a good snippet there that you talked about Brianna liking doing that.
Right.
We want everybody to learn different skills, but we also want to try to find places where they excel and where they enjoy being. That doesn't always work. It's all got to get done, and we've all got to do things that we don't want to do. But if we can find places and niches for people where they just naturally excel at it, which usually that means they enjoy it, that's part of that idea as well, especially as people age and get a little older.
As they get older, we actually start asking them, what skills are you wanting to learn?
Right.
What are you wanting to do next? And really start to incorporate that where we can.
Yeah.
So the next up is Connor.
Yep.
And Connor's 11 now.
Connor's 11, going on 12, and he has taken care of the dogs and cats primarily for quite a long time. Just about as long as I can remember right now.
He's been doing that a long time.
Yeah, and so he's just handing that off, and he's also taken care. He's taking care of a variety of animals, but he also takes care of our chickens, our geese, ducks, turkeys if we have them. We don't have all of those. We've got chickens and geese right now. So he takes care of the birds.
Yeah.
And it's more than just collecting eggs. He feeds them. He's responsible to update us on what's the level of feed and in general welfare of the animals and the coop. Right, keep the coop clean, especially during the winter. You know, you've got to be adding a lot of bedding and straw or wood chips in the winter, so that has to get cleaned out periodically. So working on developing that skill of not just feeding the animal and collecting, but overall care.
Right.
And he's right, good and capable of that at this age.
Well, and I think you're bringing up a point that's really important to us, is that we work really hard to get people up and independent in their own areas as soon as possible. Now, not that we're not following up and checking with them, but that they are learning the skills to take care of an entire area or entire job. And when it's the chickens, you know, teaching them to know not just, well, I need to put food in there because I'm supposed to dump a can of food in, but keeping an eye on the welfare of the animals, catching any problems that are there, you know, getting ahead of any issues.
So observation, learning to observe and think broader than just the tasks in front of you. It's very, very important with a lot of tasks, but certainly animal care.
Right.
Exactly. And of course, one of us, that's usually me outside, but and Carolyn does walks, but we've still got to follow through, obviously, at that age, but trying to get them independent as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So
now we jump up to Rachel, who is now 13. She just entered the teen ranks here, and she gets up and she puts our breakfast casserole into the oven first thing in the morning. And
now,
then,
who's making that?
So that gets made later in the day before.
Right, but that's what level is that? Because it's the kids generally. That's, you know.
It depends on what breakfast casserole it is, but that starts at about 7 that I have people making whole meals like that, simple ones.
Right.
So she gets that in the oven. She strains off our kefir. She what else does she do?
Oh gosh, well she
does
really
so much.
helps. I mean, she's really kind of your shadow, and in essence, she really helps a lot with the family and the kids and giving direction and just helping keep the house running. She starts the
laundry. That's the other morning one that she does. So she oversees Hannah sorting, and then she gets a load of laundry running too. But she helps with everything, and really keeps a lot of things going and really helps me.
Yeah, I've really observed how much she's taking on a little bit of that nurturing, motherly role this year. You know, along with and that's a willing her just kind of stepping in and.
Right.
Yeah, and it's really neat to see.
Yeah, she really is. She's growing up. She's a sweet girl.
Yep. And now she also can take care of the animals, and
she has at different times.
Right. Well, and she milks. So we're just coming into a cow getting ready to freshen, and milk coming in, and Rachel and Tristan will be the primary milkers with myself. I'll step in to get it going, but they'll probably mostly milk. And Connor is going to learn this year. This season will be, he won't take on a role of milking on his own, but somewhere in the season he'll come in and start milking. But just adding to what Rachel's doing at that level. And they actually, Tristan and Rachel both started milking around 11, 10, 11 years old. Yeah. And for us, they learn for a season alongside us, alongside me generally, and before the next season, then they can go on their own. And then we split it up, and we're actually, since we have a sizable family, we're actually hoping to have several milkers.
Quite a few milkers.
Where people can rotate through, or people need to take a trip or whatever.
And we do hand milk. We got that question a couple times last week, and yes, we do hand milk.
Yeah.
So, and then on up to Tristan, who's 14, and right now, he's moved on to projects.
Well, yeah, he can. We're light on livestock, but he can take care of any of the livestock at this point. And that's what he's been doing a lot the last several years, is taking care of the sheep, the pigs, the cows, alongside with me. That's one of my primary jobs. And so he's been in training for that, and he's gotten to the point where he's learning not only just to feed and water, but to observe and be looking at hooves and body and head and ears, and just understanding the condition of the animals and reading them. And he's now, along with that, moving on to, he's just on the tractor this year. And
he's getting really handy.
Yeah, he really is. So
he can do a lot of work.
He's actually starting to be able to take projects that I can assign him that I would have been doing just a year ago.
Yeah.
And he can, do the smaller side of those projects, and really is taking a lot.
Can you give any examples of projects that he's doing right now?
Let's see. Okay, so, on his own, he's actually running the tractor a little bit. He's actually helping clear some land. He's moved, kids were breaking ground and pulling rocks out of the ground for their gardens. He was able to scoop those up with the tractor, move them, and I use that one because that's new to him and he's really excited about it.
Yeah, he's enjoying
just
that.
Really loving that and just doing a super great job.
Yeah.
And certain layout jobs in the garden, and he's also alongside me, which is really, really helpful, is starting to learn carpentry skills. I mean, he had some basics, but he's starting to learn the skill saw, the chainsaw, and of course that's all supervised right now, but he's starting to do those, and so he's becoming really an apprentice and learning some higher level skills of just building, working on machinery.
Yes,
he's
been doing a bit of machinery work.
Yeah, he has, and that he's just small machinery. We have some laying around that he's just been taking it up and working on his own, just asking me for a little advice. So that is really fun and exciting.
It's fun when you get somebody a job that they like doing, because now I feel like I can't go outside hardly without hearing that tractor fire up in the background. In fact, a video that we just released yesterday, by the time this video comes out, you hear the tractor go by in the video because he just fires it up and goes out and gets to work because he's enjoying the work that he's doing. So that's really good.
Yeah.
So.
Let's see. We're gonna have to wind down here soon. Is there any other general points? So we gave you really kind of the layout of our homestead, and that gives you different ideas in our house, and everybody's different. And we have to judge each person by what they're capable of, and it's not. I mean, age is part of it, but their own personality and where you can let them go forward on certain things, especially when it comes to safety items, or where you have to. One person might be able to go forward earlier in years. Another person, it might be later.
Right.
Same within the kitchen with appliances or knives. You have to read all that and know your individual personality and mindset.
Yeah, well, and then every homestead's going to be different.
Yeah.
Every household and what you need done, what you don't need
Right,
done.
yeah.
Or people having to run out to school in the morning. That changes the whole dynamics of chore time and different things like that.
And of course, we're pretty home based. We're homeschooling. We're home business.
Yeah.
So there's a whole flow here.
Yes.
Of through and in and out our home and lifestyle with everybody doing things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we hit all of our main things that we were planning to talk about.
I think so.
Yeah.
Hope that helps you guys out, gives you some different ideas on how to approach it. And give us some comments or any questions you have.
Yeah, and if you find these pantry chats helpful, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up.
Yep.
That just helps
Absolutely.
the video to
Subscribe
go a little
if you haven't yet, and share it with anybody else would be interested.
Don't forget to grab your copy of the Fearless Fermenting from the link in the description.
Right. And next time on the Pantry Chat, episode, that'll be 13, I think we are going to cover homeschooling on the homestead.
Homeschooling. Yeah, we've been getting a lot of questions on that, so that's a good one.
All right. So great hanging with you guys, and we will see you soon.
Goodbye.
Bye.